The 5 lights are out now, and we are away here, and we bogged down at the start, got on a pretty poor launch. We run a little bit wide, locking up there, proving that we just need to pit in for a new set of tyres. You can see absolutely crazy action going on here. Perez getting all out of shape out of the hairpin. Now I'm going to try and go to the pits, but Kvyat's there, and that is absolutely shocking driving there. Having to cut the corner, and then actually spins into Perez, hits him, and almost a side pod glitch there. Looking at it from Button's point of view right now, he seeks the opportunity around the outside of both Perez and Maldonado. Going into the final, because you can see Nasr completely wiping out Danny Kvyat. Just about managed to do that when Stevens almost closed the door on us. Now going into turn 3, and in fact we've been spun round by Will Stevens there. I'm not sure what happened there. Really do think at that point we had the position, so I think Will Stevens should have backed up. But as you can see, Marcus Ericsson there, who on one of the 2 stoppers, we actually reached ahead of him, so that is absolutely crucial. We're going to come around the final corner now, and we're going to seal 9th position and 2 solid points in the Chinese Grand Prix.
The magnificent Bahrain International Circuit sits majestically in the desert, situated just 30 kilometers from the capital Manama. Welcome to the Bahrain Grand Prix, where practice is about to get underway. This weekend's night race will definitely be a challenge for some of the drivers, as not all of them have driven under lights before, so they'll need to quickly adapt to the conditions.
They would have already acclimatised and configured their normal race weekend routine to a night schedule, but I can't wait to see which driver gets up to speed the quickest in these conditions.
It's still taking some getting used to, seeing Sebastian Vettel in the red of Ferrari this season.
After so many years racing in the Red Bull colours, it's going to take a while to adjust to Seb in that Ferrari. They'll be hoping he can add to his 4 world titles with them and bring back some glory days to Maranello.
Hey guys, what is up? It is StopMatt998 here, and I am back with a brand new video. This is part 4 of my Felipe Nasr career mode here at the Bahrain International Circuit for the Bahrain Grand Prix. And obviously this weekend, we're looking to build on from where he left off at China, obviously scoring 2 solid points. We're aiming to best that today, but first, let's get into the qualifying report. For the first time this season, the back row was not occupied by both Man and Mauritius, as Will Stevens sealed 18th. This was at the expense of Daniel Kvyat, who suffered engine problems very early on, and later admitted that a risky strategy may have to be taken in the Grand Prix tomorrow. Straight line speed is a necessity around Bahrain, which is something that McLaren and Honda don't have right now. As a result, both cars lined up in 16th and 17th. Carlos Sainz continued his qualifying domination over teammate Max Verstappen, as the Spaniard was 3 tenths quicker than the 17-year-old. A similar story could be said at Force India, as Nico Hulkenberg once again out-qualified Sergio Perez. Lotus are starting to regain some pace, as Maldonado qualified in 12th with teammate Grosjean up in 9th. And with their long run pace looking promising, the team were confident of a strong points finish. Felipe Nasr and Valtteri Bottas continued their single run approach in qualifying, and it worked as Nasr sealed his best qualifying of the year with a 4th place result. Ferrari was certainly caught out by the pace of the Williams cars, as Massa was exactly 2/100ths of Kimi Raikkonen's time. This time it was Nico Rosberg who got his car on pole position, with teammate Lewis Hamilton lining up next to him. Marcus Ericsson was ecstatic with his qualifying performance, as he put in a time good enough for 8th. Teammate Nasr would have to settle for 11th.
It's nearly 6 o'clock in the evening here in Sakhir, and that means it's nearly time for the Bahrain Grand Prix. After yesterday's qualifying session, it's Nico Rosberg who's put himself in the driving seat for the race, securing pole position with a thumping lap when it mattered.
He'll want to stay out of trouble over the first few laps, but he'll be determined not to let any cars past him. If he can maintain that position once everything's settled down, he'll have a massive advantage and be able to control the race.
Lewis Hamilton described the win last time out as one of the best of his career. With the strength of that Mercedes this season, he has the perfect tool at his disposal to get more race wins.
Well, we all know how good Lewis can be when his mind is in the right place. He can be really hard on himself though when things don't go his way, but when they do, he's pretty much unbeatable.
So here we are then on the grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and for the first time this season we're actually starting behind Marcus Ericsson, as he out-qualified us yesterday in qualifying. So again, we're going to have to try and make our way past him to keep that record going in the race, because we've beaten him in every race so far this season. But I think in this Grand Prix we're going to try something a little bit different. As you can see by the strategy there, I believe we are going to be doing a 2-stop today. We're actually going to try and make the 2-stop work, because the tyre wear, unlike Malaysia and China, is actually not too bad around here. It's quite low, so we're going to try and see how it goes with the 2-stop strategy today, as the lights are illuminated above the drivers now. And we are away here for the Bahrain Grand Prix, getting off to an absolutely shocking start. As per usual, you can see Maldonado going around the outside of us there as we now approach turn 1, aiming to gain some positions back, but then Sergio Perez diving down the inside there, gaining 2 positions at the expense of obviously Felipe Nasr and also past Maldonado. Perez will be able to hang it around the outside there. I think Maldonado is still with him. In fact, the two making a bit of contact there, wheel banging there, but we have slotted in into 13th, so I think we're going to aim to gain a couple of positions going down to this next corner. As you can see, skipping cinematic camera side. In fact, we make contact with Sergio Perez, who forces Maldonado out wide. Maldonado sort of had to stop there almost. In fact, we have actually gained 2 positions from that. You know, a little bit aggressive there from Felipe, but he is going to take it, and he is now up into P11, just behind Romain Grosjean and Marcus Ericsson now into lap 2. We have finally caught up with Grosjean and Ericsson. Ericsson clearly running a higher downforce setup, but as you can see, lining up the move now on Romain Grosjean and Marcus Ericsson. You can see going 3 wide here down the pit straight. Now breaking down to turn, will we be able to gain on Grosjean and Ericsson? Breaking a little bit earlier than the pair, and I think Ericsson's being forced out a little bit wide. As you can see, it might have the inside line for this next corner, but in fact, no, we gained the position on Ericsson, and we are now up into P10. Now looking at the replay, as you can see, Ericsson on the outside there, not really much he could have done to have defended that position, but as you can see, both me and Romain Grosjean gained the positions here. As you can see, Ericsson on the outside, really being unable to do much there. As you can see, Grosjean, if he turned in a little bit more, he would have made contact with Felipe or Romain Grosjean. So Ericsson losing 2 positions from that, but now skipping literally just after that, we are now right behind Romain Grosjean. We might even go for a diving move here up the inside of turn 4, I think this is. I need to really learn the turn numbers around each and every track, but as you can see, we did get a position on Grosjean there, but Grosjean for some reason backed off an awful amount on Marcus Ericsson, so he's going to have to make his way past Marcus Ericsson sooner than later. As you can see, he is doing that right now. A couple of laps later, Romain Grosjean making his way back up into 10th position from 11th place here in the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now, skipping on to lap 7, not a huge amount happened. We were actually reeling in Nico Hulkenberg, so our pace in this stint was not too bad whatsoever. Hulkenberg now coming into the pits. He's obviously doing a free stop today. We got the DRS from the Force India there, but Nico Hulkenberg doing a free stop, picking a couple of laps early. I think we're going to try and go a couple more laps and see how it goes. I think our engineer was telling us that our tyres have very little life left in them, but as you can see now, at pit exit, that is the effective race leader, the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. In fact, Felipe Nasr is going to go around the outside of him here, and he is now up into 2nd place. Is the Sauber driver, the Brazilian. But as you can see now on the back straight, it didn't take long for Lewis Hamilton to overtake Felipe Nasr with the aid of DRS. Unsurprising really, as Felipe Nasr is going to be pitting in this lap for a new set of option tyres. In fact, his option tyres in the first stint held up pretty well, so I think this set of option tyres that he's just literally fitted, I think will take him another 8-9 laps, so it should easily be quite doable if we're aiming to pit on lap 18 or lap 19. But let's see where we come out relative to the rest of the AI. That is Daniel Ricciardo that's just gone through. In fact, that is Romain Grosjean, who's behind us before our pit stops. He is in fact undercut us here, the guy who just overtook Marcus Ericsson in the first stint. So actually we've lost out a little bit, but I don't think it's too bad because we should have the pace advantage over him in this stint with the fresher option tyres. But as you can see, Romain Grosjean just ahead. In fact, there's a spin just ahead in the form of Nico Hulkenberg, who must have had a collision with the Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo. As you can see on the replay here, Ricciardo making the move up the inside of Hulkenberg, who is doing a free stopper today. So the 2-stopper versus the 3-stopper. In fact, Ricciardo and Hulkenberg, they just seemed to lock cars really, and Hulkenberg just couldn't get away from it, and he had to turn away from Ricciardo somehow, and in doing so, he actually spun out of the Grand Prix. I don't think he was actually out of the Grand Prix, but as you can see, just spinning out there, a little bit of a side pocket, but then Grosjean and Felipe Nasr making their way through. But now we've gained loads here on Romain Grosjean. In fact, I think on this next straight here, this back straight, we're going to aim to make a move here. In fact, lock up a little bit, and we hit the back of Romain Grosjean's car. Just a slight mistake there from Felipe Nasr, but now he's actually gained even more on Romain Grosjean. He now has the DRS, which he has just opened, and he's going to try and go round the outside of Romain Grosjean, going into this next corner, and he has indeed pulled off that move up into 8th place. So currently 4 points on board today, so really going quite well in this Grand Prix. But as you can see, a little replay here of a huge battle going on for 10th position between the 2 Toro Rossos, Sergio Perez, Marcus Ericsson and Pascal Maldonado. You can see going 3 abreast there into turn 2, absolutely crazy. As you can see from Marcus Ericsson's perspective, the 2 Toro Rossos forcing each other out wide, and Perez sealing that 10th place. But now Ericsson, I think, is going to try and make a move here on the Toro Rosso. I think this is Carlos Sainz in the Toro Rosso. Yep, Ericsson's going to go out the inside now, our teammate. Obviously, Ericsson's just dropped back ever since Romain Grosjean passed him in the first stint, which just shows how poor his race pace has been today in the Bahrain Grand Prix. Obviously, clear setup differences between the 2 Sauber cars of Ericsson and Nasr. Nasr faring a lot better here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. As you can see there, Carlos Sainz making the move up the inside, sticking to the left-hand side, and he's made that move stick. Max Verstappen has had a tyre blowout here, a rear right tyre blowout here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. And as you can see just behind, the cars that he's literally just had a battle with are now overtaking Carlos Sainz. His teammate has just gone through, but now Marcus Ericsson, will he be able to get past without any problems? Obviously, they are very accident prone on this game. As you can see, Marcus Ericsson actually getting stuck behind Max Verstappen there, and now Jenson Button and I believe that was past Maldonado have gained positions at the expense of Marcus Ericsson here in the Sauber. Now that's Kvyat also through as well, who obviously started at the back and is doing a 2-stop strategy today. But as you can see, caution, yellow flag, that's Ricciardo and Felipe Nasr that has spun out on their own there, and that's Max Verstappen, who's just had who obviously had that puncher just earlier. I think Max Verstappen might have had something to do that. As you can see, Felipe Nasr trying to get past, but Verstappen turning in, and Massa spinning out here in the Williams. What is going on here? Absolutely crazy scenes. But then Massa gets going again, and obviously Ricciardo must join in with this as well. Surely he must come together with Verstappen again. Let's have a look at Daniel Ricciardo here. His on-board shot. In fact, he just drives straight into the back of Massa and almost launched him to the air there. And in fact, we did obviously gain the position from that, but now skipping on to lap 18. This is the lap now we're pitting in, and Romain Grosjean also gaining from that instant. But that was just a crazy instant there with Ricciardo and Felipe Nasr. We're getting very lucky in this Grand Prix once again, just like in Melbourne. So we're currently in the net 6th position as we do fit the prime tyres for the final stint. 10 laps to go. I think that should easily do. We should be able to manage those tyres quite easy. But I think now it'll be a pretty quiet end to the Grand Prix because Grosjean was dropping back from us. And obviously because no Ricciardo and no Massa, there's literally nothing to this Grand Prix now. So I think we're just going to have a nice Sunday drive to the end of the Grand Prix. As you can see, looking at Maldonado's perspective here, I think he has some sort of problem because he was running very slowly. And as you can see, running wide there along with Sergio Perez and Marcus Ericsson, also battling behind Ericsson and Perez going through there. But I'm not sure what's up with Pastor Maldonado. He was just going very slowly for some reason. Obviously, the tyre really affected him here. Quite realistic, actually. That's the only explanation because he didn't have a puncture or anything, or not what I could have seen anyway. As you can see, skipping to the beginning of lap 20, Nico Rosberg has just rejoined ahead of us, who I believe is actually on a free stop today for some reason. And I think that actually may cost him of the win, because I think he was actually leading before he made that first stop. But as you can see, Rosberg going up the inside of Valtteri Bottas for 4th position, I believe. You can see Rosberg has sealed that position and Bottas now down to 5th. As you can see now, Sergio Perez making the move on Marcus Ericsson. The battle a bit further back. Let's just see how our teammates progressing in this Grand Prix. It looks very unlikely that points are going to be possible for our teammates. As you can see, Perez making the move here up into the right-hander, and Perez has just about made there. But no, Ericsson's still side by side. As you can see, that's actually the leader there, Lewis Hamilton, who's obviously just lapped these guys, and they're currently battling just behind the race leaders. You can see the Toro Rosso there of Carlos Sainz just waiting in the wing to see if anything goes on between these two drivers. You can see Ericsson trying to make the move down the inside, but Perez running off there, and Perez has still managed to maintain that position despite running wide. Once again, a huge battle going on there, and actually we're going to come around the final corner now. Obviously not much happened in the last part of Felipe Nasr's Grand Prix, but once again an absolutely astonishing result here for the Brazilian driver. 6th place at the Bahrain Grand Prix ahead of Romain Grosjean. Another brilliant result for the Lotus team, and obviously the Sauber team as well. But as you can see, just another fantastic result. Obviously we got lucky once again, but Felipe Nasr is going to take this result. He is absolutely ecstatic once again. As you can see there, the emotions of the driver, very good to see. But now the race result here, Lewis Hamilton winning from Sebastian Vettel, Kimi Raikkonen in 3rd, Nico Rosberg in 4th with Valtteri Bottas 5th, ourselves in 6th, Grosjean 7th, Massa in 8th, Kvyat 9th, all the way from 19th up into 9th place. That's a brilliant drive from him, and Ricciardo in 10th. Both Ricciardo and Massa obviously had penalties, I'm assuming from their respective incidents with Verstappen and obviously themselves as well. But now looking at the Drivers' Championship, we are still in 7th place, actually quite a way ahead of Daniel Ricciardo by a good 9 points. So really not going too bad in this championship at the moment. Still in 7th with Sauber maintaining 5th spot in the Constructors' Championship. But anyway guys, if you have enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.